Hey, so quick side note, the first half of this video is my mindset on reels and creating videos. The second half is how I create reels and videos. So check out the timestamps in the description to go to whatever part of the video you want to watch. Hey everyone, my name is Jo. I am a watercolor artist. And for the past year or so, since February of 2022, I have been documenting my artistic process and posting them on Instagram as Instagram Reels. And I have been posting about 2 reels, 2 to 5 depending on the week, but at least 2 reels every week for the past year. When I first started making Instagram Reels, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know how to make short form content of my art, and at that time I was also pretty new to watercolors, and so I was learning the medium at the same time that I was learning to film and edit the medium. And in the past year I've just learned so much. I want to take you along because I know a lot of people get very frustrated with reels, and for me, my perspective is that reels and like TikToks and YouTube shorts and the equivalent, we have never ever in history had this accessibility to this kind of music and this kind of creative expression. And so I can take music I love and then make videos of my art to it. It is just a process that brings me so much joy and so much love for my craft. The exposure comes second to me in my mind. It always has. And first and foremost in my head is just the love I have for music combined with the love I have for art. Is just, this is the first time in history that we've been able to combine these two things in this way. There's such a precious thing to me that I'm able to document my progress as an artist and to immerse myself back into like the mind I was in when I was painting. And some of the music I use in my reels really is attached to that time in my life. And it's just this experiential, emotional process looking back at my reels. So because it's like such a beautiful, cherished process for me now, the likes and the views, I don't take it personally anymore. I'm just like, I'm not gonna attach my self-worth to an algorithm. That makes no sense. I see the algorithm now and how many views and likes I get as data. That's all it is. And it can teach you a lot. It can teach you what people like, what was eye-catching, what wasn't eye-catching, and you can analyze your videos without attaching your self-worth to it. So that's what I've done. If my video isn't pushed out to anyone, I just know that I love the process so much of creating reels, and I personally love the process of making that painting, that the algorithm is completely detached from how I feel about myself as an artist now. And we, as humans, are not data, even though we are sold and traded and treated like data nowadays. Like, our data is the most valuable commodity in this entire world now. But that doesn't mean that we are data. We are humans with innate self-worth and worth in general. And if you love your creative process, that's all that matters. In the long scheme of things, it is your life. Don't let it be dictated by an algorithm, okay? And the same goes for if you get a lot of likes or a lot of views on something, and then you attach your self-worth to that as well. That's also, to me, that's also not healthy. So here's the baseline of how you feel about yourself day to day. I guess my arm is kind of big, but like sometimes you feel a little bit better about yourself, sometimes you feel a little bit worse. And this is a natural rhythm of humans. Like, we're not always like perfectly okay with ourselves. If we were, we wouldn't be growing. But if a video with a lot of likes and a lot of good feedback brings you up here for your self-worth, that peak you're gonna have just as low of a low if you let that peak get you here. So what I do is I get a video with a lot of likes and I get excited because I can share my love for Reels with more people. That's exciting to me. So I let it bring me up a little bit, but I don't let it bring me up here. So don't let the viral videos or the videos with a lot of likes bring you up here, because that'll bring you down here when you don't get a lot of likes. And you can never fully trust an algorithm, because one day it's going to push you out to 100,000 people and the next day it's going to push you out to 100. This bar should be set by your artistic process and how you feel about your own art. Another point that I want to touch on is choosing what kind of audio to put in your reels. I'm just going to give you my perspective on audios. I have a couple running playlists on Spotify so that when I am listening to a song or listening to music, and in my head I can visualize the beat of the song and like where my art frames can sit within that song, I add it to the playlist. And some of the music is really popular and some of the music no one knows but me, and there's like 2 reels that have ever been made on it. I don't always look at popularity when I consider my audio. So that's one method that I use, and that's my primary method, is just using music I personally love to listen to that goes well with my art. And then the second thing I do, if I notice that an audio is trending and I actually genuinely like the audio, I try to prioritize that in my next reel. But that's maybe like 10% of my posts. My focus is not just on trending. That's not my cup of tea, because sometimes all of the trending audio I can find is just annoying and overused, and I just want it to stop, and it actually gets me off the app to see too much trending audio. And that's just my personal preference. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use trending audio. You can use whatever you like. This is just what I use. So with that, let's get into how I actually create reels. The reels that I make are usually multiple scenes of very close-up parts of my painting, and this will vary depending on your needs, but this is just what I do. So I find a close-up angle of a part of a painting that I am working on, and I make sure to focus. I lock my focus in on that part of the painting, and then I just start videoing myself. So I hold the camera still. If I was painting this, I would get a little bit of pigment and then make sure that it's all in focus. And then I would just make my marks, and then I would stop the video. You can do that on multiple parts, whichever part you're working on. As I go, I just take little process videos of sort of each section. So I take a process video of doing the sky and then the stars and then sort of each of the colors. And I actually do have a couple reels of this that you can look at as a reference of how I actually captured this piece. Another type of video that I take are time lapses. And I have this nice little stand that is adjustable so you can raise it up. And then I just put my phone on here. This stretches, and then you can just put your phone in there. And you don't want to hold your phone while you do time lapses because it's sped up. So any little shake you have in your hand will be very noticeable with time lapses. So I do something like this, and it's out of my way, and it'll film directly on top of what I'm doing. And if you don't want to get one of these little contraptions, I'll show you what I used to do before I got this. I highly recommend you get something like this. It just makes it so much easier. But if you don't want to shell out the money for this, I totally understand that, especially if you're newer at making content. So here is an example of what I used to do. So I would get a stack of books or a box or something just to elevate my phone. And then if I put my phone like this, you can see the books in the shot. So you want something that's going to tilt your phone toward the painting. So that's this first rock. And in order for this side not to fall, because it your phone kind of does some weird stuff if it's not stabilized. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. I put this rock here and then just move it to the edge. And then it looks like that. And I have a hyperlapse option. You see the little focus. You click on it and then you lock that focus because you don't want it refocusing as you do the time lapse. So those are the two options for time lapses. Something else to note is that when you do your recording, you don't want to film like this. You always want to film like this because reels are 9:16 and are vertical. So the first thing I want to talk about when editing videos is the audio. I am in a reel I've made before, and if you hear something that you like, the name of the song will be down here, or the name of the original audio will be down here. And you can see this little arrow. That means it's currently trending. And if you want to save an audio, you go to this little square down here. And then to save it, you can just do this little bookmark tab. I'm just going back to my profile, to the top, and then click this little menu up here. Go down to saved, go to audio, and then you can go through your saved audio. My typical process is to go to Spotify. I have this general music reels, like to find songs with good rhythms and good pacing. So those songs go into this playlist. And then I have a second playlist that I use quite a bit. And it's the type of songs that also have like a good rhythm and a good flow, but are just so calming and just stuff that I would listen to, you know, going to bed. I'm making a reel for a hummingbird painting that I just finished, and I'm gonna find my screen recording button. So I just screen record and I start recording, and then I go into the song, and I'm gonna turn it all the way down so I don't get copyright claimed on this video. And then I find whatever part of the song I want to make a reel to. Then I let that record, and then I will go into my next step. So before I show you the actual editing of the video, I want to say one more thing about audio. So I search here. You want to make sure that Instagram actually has the audio, because some songs they don't have. So I'm just going to look up Gypsy Gardens and then go to this audio search right here. And it's right here. The software that I use to edit my videos is this UCut video editor. You can use whatever one you have. So I'm gonna go into it. So I am just going to choose all of the hummingbird videos that I have. So now I brought in all of that footage, and I am going to go into my music, and I'm gonna extract from that video I just recorded. And so now that song is in the video so that as I edit, I can edit to the beat of the song. The first thing I do when I edit my videos is I filter it just a little bit. I make some adjustments, particularly if you are filming with a yellow light, change the warmth or the temperature of your video. So yellow light, if you adjust it this way, it makes it look like it's a yellow light. And then if you adjust it to a cooler color, it decreases that yellowness and makes it look more like a daytime film. And then I go into contrast or whatever little edits you want to make. I always try to match the true color of the painting, so I don't do too much editing, but I definitely do a lot with this warmth. And if the light is not that bright, I increase the brightness just a little bit to make it more eye-popping. And what I do to line up the video with the audio is I just use this little arrow and make it line up. So as I shorten or lengthen a video clip, I play it and then listen to the music and make it match the music. So I recommend using a third-party app. So that way you can post to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you're posting, and not have little watermarks of those apps as you post from platform to platform. By doing it this way, I can also save the video in high quality and have these reels backed up. So I am going to finish this editing and then I'm gonna show you what I do to post to Instagram. All right, I have finished my editing and I actually changed what song I'm using. Here is the pacing and the shots that I got. And then with that final reveal, try to keep my reels under about 15 seconds or so. The 3-second to 7-second range seems to work the best. You want it to be pretty quick. People's attention spans are wavering at best, including my own. I am going to save. All right, we are back in the Instagram app and I'm going to press this little plus button and then I'm going to select Reel and then select the one I just created. So here it is, and you can adjust it before you bring it in, but since I edited it in a third-party app, I know that this is the length that I want. So I just add that reel. And we're not going to use the audio from the video just because we want to make sure that we credit the correct song, and Instagram may take your video down for copyright violations if you use original audio and not the audio that they provide. So even though we have it recorded in the video, we're just going to go into this little music. And if you want to use a saved audio that I showed you before, you go into this saved section. So here's the song I wound up using. It is The Gold by Phoebe Bridgers with Manchester Orchestra. And then you can edit wherever you want the song to be, and then done. And then you press this next and it shows you your video with the new audio. You can also add some extra stuff up here. I don't usually use a lot of this stuff, but captions are nice. Since I had recorded this audio beforehand, the lyrics will come up. It doesn't give you captions of songs you choose within Instagram. So that's another perk of recording your audio and then editing your video. If you have a trending audio from like The Office or something like that, you could record that audio, put it in your video, and then just mute it when you get here, and then Instagram catches those words. So it's a great way to bring visuals to your videos. I go to next, and then I can edit my thumbnail to any point in the video, or I took all of these pictures of the details of the bird. So for instance, I'll just choose this one. And this is how it's going to show up in your Reels tab, but you can crop it however you want to have it show up in your feed. That's what's going to show up when people look at my profile. And then I save my draft. All right, that is my full Reels making process. I hope you have fun making Reels. I just see so many artists complaining about Reels, but for me it's just an opportunity to creatively express myself in a way I never thought possible. I hope you learned something and have a great day. Thank you for watching.